I like this keyboard. So, as you all know from the title and my little play with it there, my friends at Gearbest once again decided to send me another gadget, free of charge, for an honest review. And as long as the item is interesting to both me, and I believe interesting to you guys watching, I'll always take that offer. And as you can see from the introduction, this one is interesting, because this is a keyboard that thinks it's a firework display. Before we get to the fun, let's get on with the formalities and have a look at the cradle of geekiness, known in less geeky circles as the box, or boxes in the case of this bugger. And before we discuss the matter of the boxes, I just want to say that when you lift this box, the first thing you notice is the sheer weight. This appears that it's going to be a much heavier machine than any other keyboard that I've so far come across in my 30 plus years of using PC keyboards. Surely a tentative sign that there is some quality within. In fact, its weight does bring back memories, because the only thing I've used of similar weight is the original IBM PC keyboard, the Model F. And once we get in, you'll see that the similarities with that and this go far deeper. I must first point out here, not that you'll care that much, but this box is not actually the shipping box. That was just a generic box that was so well wrapped, it got destroyed, releasing the inner goodness. This first box, or is it its second box, has various bits of information on, none of which I comprehend as it's in a Far Eastern language, I'm not sure which. There is this symbol, which I am assuming is reference to some of its features, but no time to wonder philosophically about that, because we need to get inside. So, you slowly peel back its lid, out of which peeks another box! Boy, do they like to protect this product. I'm starting to wonder if they've not sent me something akin to Matioshaka dolls. Yes, my wife helped me with the pronunciation of that and I've still got it wrong, I think. I'm hoping that this is not going to be an endless nest of boxes with perhaps just a very tiny keyboard within. But this box we come across inside, this black monolith that is so matte it reminds me of the monolith from 2001. It's just so damn sexy, with this matte black texture set off this with rather nice shiny writing that reflects your finger as if it wants you inside. Okay, I may be taking this a little bit too far, but I'm a strange boy, I know. This box gives a real air of quality and sophistication. I'm just hoping that once we get in, the product that is within does not let down the tension that is building. That weight is still there. Okay, let's get on with this and open her up, and oh, she's in a bag, but not just any bag. They've even put the Ajazz logo on it, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. The first time we come across it on this adventure. Nice touch, but what's this? No plain white foam here, they've used black foam, and it's not that cheap stuff, this has real density to it. My expectations are rising even further. Those expectations arise even further when you pull out the keyboard and notice the little box behind it. Yes, this little box is for the key remover. Now with most companies, you get this just loose in the main box, or in a bag if you're lucky. Not with these guys, and it's this kind of attention to detail that is appreciated, as it really gives the impression that you're going to be coming across a real quality product. In the bottom of the box we find the paperwork, but everything is in this Far Eastern language which I don't understand, so I actually had to resort to a YouTube video to see how to use this thing. It really had not better let me down now. Okay, finally removing the foam and taking this thing out of its bag. First impressions. Well, it looks like any normal keyboard, nothing special about the actual design here, no crazy bumps or go fast stripes. The only thing that immediately sticks out to you is the wheel, the function of which we will look at later. Another thing that you soon notice is that unlike most keyboards, instead of symbols being on the top of the keys, they're actually on the front. Unusual. I think for touch typers and most people, this may not be too much of an issue, but if you're a two-finger thumper and don't have perfect sight, those small symbols may become an issue. Something to consider, but don't judge it just yet. I've something to show you. Staying with the keys, you will notice that these are smooth. That can be an issue with greasy fingers such as mine, and if you're a bit OCD, will result in many hours of scrubbing. Now believe me, these are what I consider minor issues, because in a moment we're going to fire this thing up and use those keys, and you'll see why I can absolutely forgive the same for these minor inconveniences. But just to tease you a wee bit more before we do that, let's have a look at the bezel, and it's here that you'll notice the quality and attention to detail. This bezel itself is this lovely matte metal creation with this engraved first blood symbol here. It's gorgeous. In the top right hand corner you have the media function buttons which operate the media functions. Above them is this button which controls the functionality of the wheel next to them, either allowing you to use it to control the volume, or with a press of its function button gives you direct control over another function which we'll discuss once this beauty is powered. This wheel can be rotated or pressed, and I love the red metallic band that goes around its edge. Gorgeous attention to detail once again. The only thing that perhaps lets the perception of quality down here is the wobble present in the wheel. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't at any time feel like it's going to break, it's just annoying in such an otherwise well built keyboard. One last thing to look at before the grand reveal. Well, it's not such a grand reveal as you've seen some of it in the opening of the video. And that's her underside. Here you won't be finding a metal case, that would have shoved the price right up, but you will find a very sturdy plastic back with this rather nice symbol. A nice touch when you consider that this is an area of the keyboard that you're very rarely going to be looking at. Right, enough. Let's turn this thing on finally. Grabbing the lead to plug it in, you will notice that this ain't some cheap plastic lead, but some lovely braided material that comes wrapped with its own wrapper type thing that even has their own logo and feels like it's well made itself. That attention to detail again. You come to the USB plug and find they've even put its own little cover on this. I know this thing is not really needed, probably could be considered excess, that they could have just used cheaper parts and cut the price, but to me it really gives a sense that somebody's actually sat down and thought about the design and quality of this keyboard, instead of just showing some generic machine in a box and charging way too much for it. It's when you plug it in the magic happens. First of all, it goes through this short boot up sequence. All the keys light up and suddenly those small symbols on the front make sense because they are now brightly lit. Depressing a key, you'll find that this keyboard actually has mechanical movement, lovely and clicky, quite a loud click in fact, which means that if you work in an office or you want a quiet home, this is not the keyboard for you. But let's face it, this keyboard is not designed for typing documents on all day. It's a gaming keyboard and designed to give tactile and audio feedback when you press a key, and that is something that it certainly achieves. It's a nice loud click similar to those original IBM keyboards, but I would say that the keys are perhaps not quite as heavy as those to press. There is only one large flaw here, and that is for Blowup Monkeys. If you are the proud owner of a Blowup Monkey who is very busy rewriting the works of Shakespeare so that it's much more poetic, with their slightly larger hands they're going to have trouble striking one key at a time. If they get frustrated during their writing and use the normal Blowup Monkey technique of bashing their heads into the keys, well, I think it's a sad fact that designers have not taken these poor animals into account, so you're still going to need a keyboard with extra large keys for your monkey instead of one of these. Now, let's face it, apart from the fact this is a well-built mechanical keyboard, the main reason we are here is for those lights, and as it comes on, you can see that initially it puts you in plain white light mode. But do you feel those lights are too bright? Hit that function key next to the wheel so it comes on and twist the wheel. You'll see the brightness of the keys adjusting to the point where they will go off. Something can also be achieved for far less grace and speed using the function and arrow keys. Now the fun starts, because those lights have several modes. To change modes, you have the option of either pressing the light mode button at the top, which will scroll through the different effects, or you can go directly to desired effect using the function key and these keys here. So let's scroll through the different effects. Right, I'm going to do this in the dark so you can see this to the best of the effect, and as I said, you can use this button here to scroll through the effects, or you can use these buttons here which gives you more control over the effects. If I go to the first one, you can see it waves through, and you can use the buttons down here and function to control the speed of that, so you can make it faster, that's how you can make it go right, you can make it go left on this effect. You can turn the brightness up and brightness down. So, next effect, well actually if you press that one again, it will freeze that in position. Nice. If you go that one, it will slowly rotate through the colours. That one knocks it off. But there's a secret, because if I press a key, boink, 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 boink. There we go. Get a rainbow effect from any key that you press, which is quite amazing. Now I can't see what I'm doing. Where's the function key? There's the function key. Right, this one, next one is a sort of random light, and if I press it again, you can use random different colours. Not nice. Next one is this one, and this is like the firework display. Boom! There you go. And boom! And you can change colours by pressing it again. There we go. Selection of colours, and you can control the speed of this, obviously, with the little guys here. There we go. Nice and slow now. Boom. And the last one is this one, which sort of brings lights in, and if you press this button, the lights go out. There you go. That is rather good. And the last one, which is really good for gaming, if you press function and the scroll lock, it will go white. You can then press any key and select what colour you want that key to be, and the system will remember this when you unplug it, so next time you boot it you can have it set up like that, which is ideal for gaming. As lovely as the LED light show is, there is one thing to be cautious of here, and it's something that, until you get used to the keyboard, may catch you out more than once, and it's the position of the LEDs. You see, on this design they've put the LEDs rather far forward. I assume this is so that the front of the keys can be brightly lit. The disadvantage of this is that if you're in the wrong position, you get a direct shot of those LEDs. Ouch! So, conclusions on the Ajazz AK60 mechanical keyboard. Available at the time of recording for $85 or around £67. While it does not have the most interesting design of bezel in history, but there are many people who will prefer the subtlety of this design. It does have amazing build quality, and attention to detail, even just in its boxes and various wrappings, is amazing. You really get the feeling that somebody has put effort into this. On the downside, those keys are not for all environments, and your OCD is going to be kicked into overdrive if you do not like greasy looking keyboards, unless you're happy constantly cleaning it. Those lights have loads of different functions and the flexibility to set them up just as you like for gaming or to show off to your friends. With that and the awesome clicky key action, I don't think you can really go too wrong with this keyboard. And it's one that I'm happy to recommend if to you the positives outweigh the negatives. If they do, then check out the link below to Gearbest to have a perusal at it. Other than that, if you like this sort of content, then please consider subscribing. And also, I have a Facebook group and can be found hanging out on Twitter. If you wish to support the channel through Patreon, that will be great. And just remains for me to say, I hope this has been useful, and thanks very much for watching.
You need to quit being dirty. You're a dirty boy.